Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming out or jumping on the Zoom so we can talk about this past game as well as the week we're living right now. So talking about Saturday, it was a good team win. It was really good in all three phases. Really proud of the guys for the way they responded. I thought we did have the growth we wanted from week 1 to week 2. And we've said it many times before, but the fun is in the winning. And it's great to be a part of a victory locker room after that game and see how much fun those guys were having. So a couple superlatives from the game. Defensively had 5 takeaways, 2 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries, as well as a 4th down stop. Held them to 1 of 10 on 3rd down for a 90% efficiency. Had 4 sacks and did some really good things. Really imposed our will on that side of the ball. There's a couple things like there always will be to clean up, and we're going to continue to work on tackling like probably every team in America, and we're going to try to get better at that. Offensively, converted 63% of our 3rd downs, had 10 explosives on the day, and I thought did some really good things, run and pass. You know, anytime you're sitting there flirting with 500 yards of total offense, you're doing some good things and showing some really good balance. Special teams wise, we won the day. Average starting field position after a kick was 33.25 for us and 24.18 for them. So good complimentary football. And like I said, just really proud of the team and proud of some individual efforts as well. Be remiss if I didn't talk about our offensive player of the game, Bradley Rozner, coming back and getting his first 2 touchdowns since 2019, and one of them he snatched the ball away from a DB. I thought was a great play, and then had a 75-yard play to start the second half for the offense, and did a great job leaning on the DB and then running down the ball. And so that was a lot of fun for me to see. It was great to see Roz. It was great to see him in the second quarter keep a drive alive and give us a chance to kick a field goal there as well. And so again, a bunch of big plays there. Defensive player of the game was Gabe Taylor. And obviously had the 3rd longest pick 6 in Rice history. So that was great to see that thing go back the way that it did. And special teams wise, Marcus Williams was our player of the game. A couple other people to mention from this game. Really just want to talk about TJ McMahon and what he's been able to do in his last 6 quarters in Rice Stadium. I said it to a couple of you guys, but I believe he's 32 of 49 for 465 yards and 6 touchdowns in his last 6 quarters in Rice Stadium, all against teams from Louisiana nonetheless. So we certainly hope he keeps that trend going and keeps playing really good. I thought for his first start, he was tremendous. I thought he did a good job taking what was there. There's a couple throws that, again, we're going to keep working on getting him to hit and connect with those guys. I think we got great receiver threats out there. And when we give TJ time, we expect him to be able to hit those guys. But he also affected the game with his legs, and that was really good to see. So he accounted for 5 touchdowns, including the one he rushed for. His 4 touchdowns in the first game of a Rice Owl starting quarterback. It's the first time a Rice Owl quarterback had 4 tuds in their first game since the first game in Rice Stadium in 1950 against Santa Clara. And Chuck gave me that fine piece of knowledge there. So that's many moons ago, as we often say in this room. So it's good to see TJ making those positive steps forward. I think our defense as a whole just is starting to really come together. I think when you get the penetration that we're able to get up front, and you have the guys doing a great job in the back end, and then guys like Treshawn Chamberlain, who you'll hear from a little bit later, affecting the game in the run game, doing a great job in coverage when that's what's asked of them. I just think like those guys are communicating pretty well right now. The biggest challenge to the whole team is to keep working on technique and tackling, right? Like techniques, tackling, pad level, those fundamental things that we just got to keep moving forward with as we're trying to take another big step this week. And that's really the bottom line. Before I completely move on from last game, there was some cool things in it. We had a chance to play 5 true freshmen, and Chibi got a chance to play. And in his first college football play, you talk about welcome to college football moments. Chibi recovers a fumble. You know, Chibi's from right down the road in Cypress. And Damone Green, in his first college football play, comes in and gets a sack, and he's right up the road from Houston Heights. So it was awesome to get those 5 freshmen a little bit of run, and certainly the reward for having a good training camp and for providing the looks they have to our team. And then seeing those guys have success was really cool as well. But we have shifted our focus to a very good Louisiana team, a team that comes in here on the nation's longest winning streak, 15 games in a row. And, I think they've Billy Napier did an unbelievable job building that program in a lot of ways from the ground up, and it doesn't seem like they've missed a beat. They're right in here coming into our stadium 2-0, and a lot of the same schemes on both sides of the ball. A little bit different on special teams, but again, just doing a really nice job with every phase of the game for them. And it's going to be an outstanding challenge for us this week. And it's one that we are excited about. It's one that we had an outstanding practice yesterday, and I expect us to have an outstanding practice today in preparation for it. But talking about this week and, those cool uniforms that we had a chance to talk about last week that I thought were very well received by not only our players, the look good, feel good, play good mantra, but also the nation, and the love we got for those uniforms I thought was really cool. But this week, 2022 marks the 50th anniversary of Rice's class in 1972, which included the first 4 Black student athletes to compete for the Rice Owls: Rodrigo Barnes, Leroy Marion, Mike Tyler, and Staley Vincent. And it's also the 50th anniversary of Title IX. So a couple of things that we're celebrating there is the first women Black student athletes at Rice, Denise Bostic and Lila Freeman. And all of those 6 will be honored in an event Wednesday night at the Ion, as well as honored at our game on Saturday. So we're excited about that. We will also wear a throwback helmet that matches the one that was worn by Barnes, Tyler, and Vincent during their last 2 years at Rice. So this is what the helmet's going to look like. We're excited about that. I don't know. I think that's probably our first time with these 2 seeing it, but that's pretty sweet on the old throwback helmet there. And then just talking about those guys and what they meant to the program. You talk about them, and they each earned 3 letters in football and earned at least 1 All Southwest Conference honor during their career. Rodrigo was the UPI Southwest Conference Defensive Player of the Year as a senior. Staley was the first Black starting quarterback in the conference as a sophomore in 1969. All 3 went on to be drafted in the NFL. And Vincent was presented the Bob Quinn Award in 1972 as Rice's top student athlete. So pretty outstanding. They all went on to successful business careers. And we're really thrilled that Rodrigo and Staley will be back this weekend. Mike unfortunately passed away in 2014, but we think it will mean a lot to those guys to be back. They're going to come to our practice on Thursday and get a chance to interact with our team, and we're looking forward to that. And then wearing these helmets to honor them, and hopefully we make them proud on Saturday as well. Again, you'll hear from Bradley Rozner and Treshawn Chamberlain whenever I'm done, but I'll open up for any questions right now. That's just it. Like, we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate in that locker room. We're going to celebrate that evening. As a coaching staff, you really turn the page on Sunday, right? Like, you get all those meetings out of the way at our 1 p.m. staff meeting. We talk about it. We make any corrections we need to make, and we're going forward. Then you kind of open the can back up when we have our first team meeting on Mondays at 1 p.m. or 1:15 p.m. And we get a chance to kind of celebrate some of that stuff again. You go through the players of the game. You show some of the great plays on all 3 phases, because I want these guys to see what their teammates are doing. They're such good cheerleaders for each other. And then once again, they watch that film, they get the corrections, and then shoot, an hour later, you're on to the next. And then you're on the practice field practicing. And then today it's base install on both sides of the ball. Crucial. It was absolutely crucial. Like, whoever your leaders are in any organization, they have got to set the tone. The speed of the leaders, the speed of the pack. And so when those guys go out there and show everybody, hey, this is the tempo we're going to practice at. This is the focus we're going to have. Hopefully their coaches have really coached those leaders through the years. But now that we've got great leaders in place, they're doing a great job. I don't know like how much we're having to use our voice as coaches to get effort and stuff like that. And that's a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, raising the floor is critically important, but raising the ceiling was most important. And when we brought in those two players, those were home runs for us. One in our first class, one in our second class. That just glad they're playing the best football of their careers right now, and that's awesome. What else can we ask for? And then they've helped bring in other players in these classes, and they help bring along other players in these subsequent classes that are now affecting the game for us. Like just watching how TC interacts with Gabe, like watching those guys day to day. Hearing George Nyquil talk to the team last night about making sure they're on their base down study, and I've watched all first and second down before they come to install meetings today. Because again, like we can lay out a good roadmap, but there is nothing like your peers telling you, make sure you do this, and the accountability you feel to your peers. And that's why that kind of leadership is the best you can get. Yeah, running the ball, I thought McNeese did a great job. I thought they committed a lot of people to the box. I thought they played with outstanding effort. Like I don't think those guys like just laid the ball out there and just let it go. I mean, they were fighting their butts off, and because of that, we actually averaged less yards per carry against McNeese than we did USC. Right, like so. Total run game, we got more at bats in it because of the great turnovers that the defense had, and because of the way the game was in the fourth quarter. But I think I appreciate the balance, and I appreciate the explosiveness. To have 10 to 12 explosives in a game is a good recipe for success for our offense. I don't know if we had any new revelations because I thought the guys really played the way I hoped they would. And they continued to fight. They continued to stay in the game every moment they were in there. And that's what we asked them for. I told them, like, don't get sick of celebrating with your teammates. Like, enjoy every moment of this. We're promised 12 of these. And every play, every moment is so precious and so special. I would say that the one thing that was great to see was TJ's performance and him be able to have a full week of practice, because, you know, I'd come in here and I'd talk to you guys before, like, hey, it's neck and neck. Wiley and TJ are both doing some good things. And as we know, we felt like Wiley had the edge coming out of training camp and out of scrimmage number 2. Then you go to SC and Wiley's playing really good till he gets hurt, and TJ gets thrown in there for essentially 3 quarters. And, you know, some people thrive as a backup quarterback, but I don't know if anybody does in their first at bat, if you will, or his really his second at bat, you know, getting thrown into a game like that where you haven't had the prep. And so what I had hoped would be the case with TJ was he'd go through a week as the number 1 and get 80% of the bulk reps during the week and all the kinesthetic reps, if you will. And as well as having the knowledge that he's going to be the starter and going through those things. I mean, you want everybody to do that as the backup. And I think he did prepare in that manner, but what he didn't get was those kinesthetic reps for USC. And he did get them last week. And I think you saw that success really show up on the field on Saturday. And what I love about TJ is the Monday practice he had before McNeese. It didn't go well. You know, like we were out there performing. Everybody was trying to get going. We were trying to go, and we weren't performing very well. Tuesday, it was much better. He hit all the base down stuff and really did well, but we missed all the shots. Like Roz and those guys were running down the field, and the balls were not thrown where they needed to be. And then Wednesday, he started hitting those shots. Confidence started growing. Thursday, we had our walkthrough. It was like, okay, we're going to be good. Friday, we hit them all in our Fast Friday. And then Saturday, we hit, all but 1 or 2. So that was the good way for the week to build. And we kept building on it because yesterday we came out there and we performed pretty well on a Monday. So now I'm excited for what our Tuesday is going to look like, because it should be even better than last Tuesday. Yeah, I think offensively they run the ball real well, you know, and I don't know where they're at in their quarterback conversations or what have you, but they've got 2 talented guys. One maybe throws the deep ball a little bit better than the other one, but, you know, one came in the game the other day and went 10 for 11, I believe, late in the game. So I'm not sure what they're going to do there. They bring back a receiver in number 8 that's a down the field threat. They do some stuff in the run game with the speed sweep action, with some misdirection, that we've just got to be great with our run fits. And if we can be great with our run fits and out physical them and beat them at their own game, we're going to be just fine on that side of the ball. offensively, we've got to do a great job handling their movement up front because they're a classic 3-4 team that's going to play 3-4 quarters, and they're going to try to get great extension, and they're going to be blocked until they're not, and they're going to shed you out of their gap. And the next snap, they're going to line up, and on the snap of the football, they're going to move. And it's a violent, aggressive movement, and they got some really good players up front. And they got some guys in the secondary that have played a lot of football for them. So I think it's, again, I look at it and I just think it's a really good challenge. It's a really good test for where we are, and I'm excited about it. You know, they've got a junior college transfer at nose guard, number 99, that's doing a great job. I think the receiver number 8 and whichever of those 2 quarterbacks they put in there are all guys that we've got to have an understanding of what they do best and where they're at all times. Yeah, it was a good week for the Sun Belt last week, wasn't it? Yeah, it really was. Gosh. Yeah, good week for the old Sun Belt. But hey, look, this is a team that's going to come into Rice Stadium. They're going to be as prepared as they can be. And we're going to spend this week getting ready for their arrival, if you will, and in great anticipation for 6:30 on Saturday night.
Anything else in the room? Okay, we'll open up. Anybody on the Zoom have any questions?
Hey, Coach, it's JP. You mentioned the 15-game winning streak. Not often you get to play a team with the nation's longest winning streak. How much do you use that as motivation, or do you think the guys know that already? You don't have to say much.
Yeah, I think what it does is it makes you realize what a quality opponent you are. I mean, there's nothing we can do different or better. I just want the guys to go through their process this week and to worry about us. But I think we all have an understanding because of a 15-game win streak. Like, they haven't lost since the first game last season. There's been a lot of life since then for all of us, if you put that in perspective. Like, they lost to Texas in the opener, and they've won 15 straight games. So, you know, we talk about it as the longest winning streak in college football, but certainly the longest winning streak in pro football or any major football for that matter. They've done a phenomenal job. And like I said, the big deal is seeing Coach Napier go to Florida and several players leave their program, but they seem to just be lining back up and picking up right where they left off as they're coming in here 2-0.
Anything else on Zoom? All right, thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you all. Have a great week.
We'll bring up Bradley Rozner.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Just want to talk about the McNeese State game real quick. I think it was a great bounce back game, especially from week 1. That week 1 performance wasn't our best footing. So we really needed that week 2 game to really show people who we are. And that week 1 wasn't who we wanted to represent as the Rice Owls. So coming back and bouncing back like we did, I think it was a great team performance. As Coach mentioned, it was a great complimentary football. And now we're on to Louisiana. Had a couple of friends from JUCO days from Louisiana, the boot. So they're going to have some athletes, going to have some great football players, and we're excited for the opportunity.
What was it like for you to look at 1,000 days last week? What was it like to get in the boxes again?
Yeah, it was a bunch of mixed emotions. You know, happiness, excited, relief. Just because I put so much pressure on myself to perform and excel, but it was a great feeling, especially celebrating with my teammates, and yeah. Hopefully we can keep doing that. Yeah, like Coach mentioned earlier, they have a lot of experience in the back end, and having those athletes, you know, especially their D line, they also have I believe two 6 super seniors. So a lot of experience there. But this will be a good challenge for our entire offense as a whole. With the guys up front protecting and hopefully us being able to push the ball down the field. Mhm. I don't know. This will be a first for me. So obviously we can't take them lightly. They're a really good program. But again, they're just another opponent on the schedule, and we have to go out there and do our job and execute. Mhm.
Like games that.
You know, me and TJ have a pretty good relationship. We were roommates, was that last spring or the fall before that. So we have a really good relationship, and seeing each other go through some difficult times and kind of being there for each other. It was really fun seeing each other have so much success, especially when it's, you know, together. So that was really good to see him perform and do some great things for us. Mhm. Yeah. You know, it shows us that we can do it and we're able to. We just have to go out there, focus, and execute on our 111th and doing our job. And we have the confidence to do that because we've done it before. You always give me something out there. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I believe the defense had just given up the touchdown right before that. So the offense knew we needed to respond. So called up the big post. I had easy inside leverage, just took off vertically, stuck it. Thankfully, somehow he fell. I was able to track down the ball and just finish from there. I did. Yeah. I did stumble. Everybody gave me a little slack for that. But yeah, we did find the end zone, so it was fun. It was definitely fun. Yeah.
Any questions from, I guess, JP, you've got a question for Roz?
Yeah, Roz, forgot to ask you this yesterday, but you've had a front row seat for Luke's transition to wide receiver. He's made that seem pretty seamless, and overall, you have more depth in the wide receiving room. How has that lessened slack on you?
You know, Luke made that transition seamlessly. He's just an all-around athlete, a student of the game. His mind is constantly thinking about football. And you know, he thought he didn't have the greatest game Saturday, even though I thought he did well. And he attacked Monday's practice like he played the worst game of his life. So having a guy like that who's just a workhorse and just loves football, it just takes kind of the pressure and the workload of everybody in the room. And he's someone you can look up to if you ever need help or a helping hand in anything, as far as anything you can do better, anything you might see on the field. He's a great guy to go to and a resource.
Anything else? All right, thanks, Roz.
Thank y'all.
Treshawn?
Hello, everybody. Hope y'all doing well. In my recap of last week's game, I would like to say that it was something that, from my point of view, the defense definitely prepared for. Something that you know, starts from Monday. Honestly, from Sunday, we always preach about, you know, throwing the game behind our heads. the day after, going and getting prepared for the next week. And that's exactly what we did. From the DB point of view, we always focus on the little things. It came from film study as a team. Like we always talked about being player-led. That's proven to be pretty successful in increasing our chemistry on the field and off the field. So communication has been able to be great from this. And I mean, that's basically what we were planning on taking into this week. And the focus and preparations that we're taking, as long as we get the same results and, work hard for, the results that we produced last week, I believe in, the team. Like I said, the preparation, obviously it comes from being locked into the smallest of details, and that's something that we preached about with down and distance and alignments and any of those type of calibration that we could put in before the snap. Yeah, being here for 5 years, I constantly heard, always run through for the ball. There's tips and overthrows, tips and overthrows. So, constantly, hearing that in your head it's a immediate reaction to keep running, be prepared for the ball. You bounce up, you never know what's gonna come your way. It was great. We always preach Mudita, so honestly, the entire defense was more ecstatic for him than maybe he was, because obviously running 90 yards, I mean, I wouldn't be able to celebrate as much as my teammates probably would too. But it was great seeing him, use the speed that he's been showing in practice. Great, putting all the extra work in that we do before and after, onto the camera and letting everybody else see what we've been doing. I believe it'll be a great matchup. As long as everybody, lock in, like we preached about the details. For me, my point of view as a Viper, I have, multiple responsibilities as a hybrid. I need to learn the offensive alignment as well as the exterior of the offense. So my keys, obviously, trying to figure out the whole 11, trying to figure out, what catches and gimmicks they might, show or anything of that sort. Keeping the defense aligned, being able to make sure we're fast and physical and, being able to move without thinking by the time the play begins. It's great. It's something that Coach Smith always preaches. Having Ken on the D line as somebody we trust, that's something big as well. So knowing that he's gonna have his front four, situated, knowing that we got, some experience with Chris Conti coming in to give us some leverage at the linebackers. It's been giving us a lot of trust, and knowing that we could do our 111, knowing that, I force him to cut back. My man is right here. He's not going to overrun. He's going to pursue the ball. And that all comes from, the chemistry that's created through practice. And I guess, obviously the amount of effort that we give, everybody's giving 100% in practice. So it'll be 110% in game. Honestly, we took last Monday's practice the same way as we took this Monday's practice, and I believe it's going to go the same way. We practice the same way that we always are because we're Rice Owls. We are Rice Owls. We're here, to make a play and show what we can do. Every practice is its own entity, and we know that as long as we come out and perform the best way that we can in practice, the results will show, and that's exactly what we're working for.
All right, JP, I see you have your hand up.
Hey, Treshawn, you've been through a lot injury-wise on the field the last couple years. You've always bounced back, and are talking to Coach Spencer in the preseason. He said you bulked up and thought you were faster. I'm interested to hear your first-person narrative about what you've gone through, but also how you've gotten your body ready and you've been more mature.
Last year was kind of a grind, you know, with it happening in the first game against Arkansas, first half, basically, you know, the season on the edge of ending right there, and going through a few more games before, you know, making the call. But, you know, the bounce back has been strong. Being in and out of the rehab, being in and out of the training room, has been able to allow me to work on the smallest of muscles, the smallest nerves that I could possibly, you know, kind of lock in on and focus on. And that I've been able to do that with my shoulders, as everybody knows that. And it also goes into working on my, you know, my legs, as, you know, focusing on, you know, the key points and the smallest muscles that, you know, may be weak on a football field. Has been able to allow me to focus on every other muscle in my body that's been able to allow me to fine tune, you know, what I've been wanting to create. And in terms of speed, I believe so too. I've been able to, you know, fluctuate my weight and be able to control it the way I want to this year. So I definitely believe that, you know, with my stretches and, you know, the mobility that I've gained, it had to give me some speed somewhere.
Anything else? All right, thanks, everybody. We'll see you Saturday night.
Thank you.